This is the story of a theft that kept the world's top investigation agency restless for 6 years. Not one or two, but this theft involved $3.5 billion. How a single phone call led to the thief's downfall, how such a large amount of money was hidden in a small container of toast, and most importantly, after the recovery of the money, why the rightful owner turned away from it. Welcome back to Story TV video. On September 13, 2019, a young man named Jimmy Young made an emergency call to 911. This phone call was going to land him in big trouble. Jimmy Young lived in a small town named Athens in the state of Georgia, USA. He had called the police to report a burglary at his home and told the responding officer that $400,000 had been stolen from his house. The large amount surprised the officer. Jimmy had an excellent security system installed at his home and even had CCTV footage of the thief entering his home, with the thief's face covered. Jimmy Young was a student at the University of Georgia, and was known among his friends as a party boy. He would spend around $500,000 at a single party. If he went to a bar, he would buy free drinks for everyone present. Most of his friends associated with him out of greed for money and indulgence. Once, to watch his favorite football team's match, Jimmy gathered his friends and took them to Los Angeles on a private jet. The point is, Jimmy had a lot of money at a very young age, perhaps more than he could manage. When the police failed to find the burglar at his home, he hired a private detective named Martinelli because Jimmy's lifestyle and friend circle suggested that the burglary was committed by one of his friends. Therefore, Martinelli studied the case thoroughly, including Jimmy's social media accounts and bank transactions. The private detective was puzzled about the source of Jimmy's income, given his extravagant spending at such a young age. Jimmy claimed to be a Bitcoin trader and crypto investor. Given the rising prices of Bitcoin over the past few years, everyone believed him. Martinelli suspected that the person seen entering his home in the video footage knew Jimmy was not home and knew exactly when to act, indicating it was likely a close friend of Jimmy's. This wasn't the first time Athens police had dealt with Jimmy. He had been caught in a cocaine possession case a few years back and had maintained a good relationship with the police officers since then. Athens police often used the CCTV cameras at his house for investigating other cases as well. But this time, the call to 911 had put Jimmy under significant scrutiny. Meanwhile, the regional cybercrime unit also learned that $400,000 had been stolen from Jimmy Young's house and that he claimed to be a Bitcoin trader. They suspected that although Jimmy had Bitcoin, the source of such a large amount of money was questionable. The regional cybercrime unit had been investigating the Silk Road crypto heist case for the past 7 years without any leads. Silk Road was an online exchange where all illegal activities, from weapons to drugs, were traded, and transactions were made in bitcoins. In 2012, the exchange was hacked, and someone stole a total of 51,680 bitcoins from various traders. However, since it was an illegal dark website, no one reported the theft. The following year, the owner of Silk Road was caught, and the FBI shut down the website and seized all the bitcoins. The FBI recovered 17,000 bitcoins from the Silk Road owner, but 51,680 bitcoins were still missing, presumably stolen by a hacker earlier. The FBI suspected that the Silk Road owner might have transferred them to another account and was lying. Bitcoin transactions across different accounts are completely transparent and can be viewed by anyone, but the account owner's identity remains unknown. The regional cybercrime unit suspected that Jimmy Young might be connected to the stolen bitcoins from Silk Road and needed to find out his Bitcoin address. The Athens police and the regional cybercrime unit collaborated to meet with Jimmy, as they were already investigating his case of the $400,000 theft. 3 plainclothes officers, equipped with body cams, entered Jimmy's house, assuring him they were there regarding the investigation of the stolen $400,000. During the conversation, they tried to inquire about his source of income. Jimmy showed them his room, where 2 Bitcoin miners were placed. A blockchain expert in the regional cybercrime unit's team immediately realized that a couple of Bitcoin mining machines could not generate as much wealth as Jimmy was spending. Meanwhile, by engaging in conversation, an officer accessed Jimmy's laptop and copied his Bitcoin address. This was one of Jimmy's many Bitcoin addresses, but it was sufficient to connect him to the Silk Road crypto heist. The regional cybercrime unit's hunch was correct. Although there wasn't a significant amount in this Bitcoin address, its transaction history matched with an account from Silk Road several years ago. This proved that Jimmy was indeed connected to the Silk Road heist. The officers were now searching for the 51,000 Bitcoins they believed were in Jimmy's possession. They contacted Jimmy again to set up a meeting, but this time they arrived with a search warrant. When Jimmy realized this, he turned pale. The officers began searching his house, tapping each tile to check for any secret storage boxes. Eventually, they found a container of Cheetos with a small towel inside. The presence of a towel piece in a snack container aroused their suspicion, and upon removing it, they found a small computer chip underneath. This was a Bitcoin hard wallet containing 51,000 Bitcoins, worth $3.5 billion in 2021. Jimmy Young was now in deep trouble. In his attempt to catch the thief who stole $400,000, he ended up losing 51,000 Bitcoins. Jimmy explained to the officers that he frequented the Silk Road exchange to fulfill his drug addiction and purchased drugs from there. In 2012, while withdrawing his Bitcoins from the website, he noticed a loophole. Jimmy had considerable knowledge of blockchain, so he used the loophole to withdraw other website users' Bitcoins as well. When he managed to withdraw 51,680 Bitcoins, the owner of Silk Road became aware. At that time, the value of these Bitcoins amounted to several $1 million. Knowing he couldn't complain to the police, the Silk Road owner privately messaged Jimmy, asking him to reveal the website's loophole. In exchange, he forgave Jimmy for the stolen Bitcoins. The Athens police, FBI, and regional cybercrime unit had finally solved a case several years old. In 2023, Jimmy Young was sentenced to 1 year and 1 day for wire fraud. This is considered the biggest Bitcoin heist in US history. Had Jimmy not called 911 that day, he might still be free with his Bitcoins. But that phone call brought him down from the skies to the ground in an instant. The FBI issued a notice under the names of the rightful owners of the seized 51,000 Bitcoins, inviting anyone affected by the 2012 Silk Road crypto heist to come forward and claim their Bitcoins. Surprisingly, not a single person came forward, as doing so would mean admitting to having an account on Silk Road, which was synonymous with being involved in criminal activities. We hope you will like and share this video from Story TV as well. Thank you for your loving comments. See you in the next exciting video.